Aren't you tired of the never-ending disappointment that comes from watching iconic video games being shit out through the Hollywood machine? I mean the bland, uninspired, soulless adaptations that never live up to how they should turn out. Well, it seems like Hollywood actually listened to us this time. Let me be clear. First, in recent years, we've definitely seen a shift in the idea of this adaptation curse with films that have actually been adapted pretty successfully, such as a Detective Pikachu or the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. But HBO Max decided to get every freaking tool in their disposal to actually create a prestige piece of cinema out of one of the most celebrated video games of all time. But there's a reason why this is, so let's talk about it. First off, welcome to the channel. My name is Escape, and we talk about cinema in this bitch. So if you're new and you like my sexy little narration voice, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe for more. Let's get it. Okay, can I just say that for once I'm not in the minority by being blown away by how good this show has turned out so far? I mean, we're currently only 4 episodes in and it's already managed to encapsulate us into this post-apocalyptic world. I mean, these larger-than-life characters and story, it's expertly crafted. With that being said, I feel I can speak on this show's impeccable structure because regardless of it still having a whole half a season left to go, there's not too much opportunity for them to fuck this up. To be honest, they just need to land the plane at this point. And by the way, no, I will not be spoiling anything from here on out, so if you haven't played the game, but are watching the show, you have nothing to worry about. But overall, has The Last of Us really lived up to the hype? Could it actually break the video game curse and even add to the masterpiece that was the first Last of Us game? Well, let's just say the very first episode is clearly a note-for-note remake of the game's intro, but it leans into it rather than shying away from it. It's impressive the amount of small details they took straight out of the gameplay. It sets a whole new standard for TV pilots. It delivers one of the most compelling and suspenseful openings I have ever seen. The pressure was really on for this episode to win over the fans, and it exceeded all expectations, soaring far above that bar by simply taking the perspective of Joel's daughter Sarah for its entire runtime, the same way it's portrayed in the game. But it takes it a step further by giving us more time with her and fleshing her character out even more than the game itself did. And despite already knowing what was to come from playing the game, the show still managed to surprise me with its detours from the source material, but at no point did I feel like any of the changes were unnecessary. They perfectly replicated moments from the game while also adding more depth and in some areas surpassing the game itself. I mean, it's a goddamn triumph. The first few minutes of the pilot instantly immerses the viewer into this world and keeps you there until the credits roll, prioritizing the story over the special effects. Sony, take some notes. See, what most live-action video game adaptations seem to always get wrong is in the world building itself. It never seems to flesh out the characters and the atmosphere and make them feel real. It's always the same simple mistakes, such as bad casting choices, lackluster scripts, or creating ridiculous plot twists that do nothing but tarnish the game's reputation. But for once, it seems the showrunners are actually aware of these mistakes and make it a point to make sure the show doesn't fall victim to that. They checked all of the following boxes that most adaptations usually miss. The performances. In the original game, the voice acting by Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson as Joel and Ellie is some of the best in the industry. It's already a tough task in its own to compete with that. But getting Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey to play live-action iterations of Joel and Ellie was a hell of a choice. Not only do they play their parts, but in doing so they both managed to seamlessly disappear into these beloved characters. Even the freaking side characters feel like they were casted with so much attention to detail, including Tess, Tommy, Sarah, Frank, and oh my god, don't even get me started on Nick Offerman as Bill. Chef's kiss. The script. What can I say? Majority of it is literally taken straight out of the game, but it works. And the actors deliver it just as well as the voice actors manage to. But why not create a different script? Why just copy and paste it? Because have you played the game? There's a reason it won tons of awards for its story back when it released. I mean, don't fix what's broken. And that's what they do. They run with it, they take what already worked, and even take the time to add more depth to the script with extra character moments the game didn't even give us. And just adding to the overall lure of Joel and Ellie's relationship, the plot. Like I said, the showrunners aren't shying away from the game, but it's not as lazy as it sounds, it's actually genius. The plot in itself is simple, but it's set inside a state of the world that is anything but simple. You have a setting of a post-apocalyptic world due to a fungus outbreak that nobody can seem to understand completely, a vast amount of different breeds of zombies such as clickers, runners, bloaters, stalkers, and more, all containing a distinct quality about them that causes them to act how they act in scenarios. It's also a critique on how the government tends to act in harsh situations and whether the actions they take are actually in our best interest or not. There's a lot to be said in this world, but the plot itself is focused on a broken man who lost his daughter to this outbreak. And as years passed, he became bitter and cold to the world until he stumbled into a situation where he was forced to protect a young girl and basically deliver her to people who believe that she's special. In doing that, this man develops a bond with this girl who helps him discover his humanity again, even in a world that is no longer human. Fuck, I'm already tearing up. The plot behind Joel and Ellie in itself is simple. It's the fact that the creators care enough to develop these two characters to such a degree that you can begin to see yourselves in them and see that there's a bigger meaning behind what the characters actually represent themselves. Now that is masterful filmmaking. It's nothing short of groundbreaking. It gives fans of the game what they love while introducing new audiences to a great story without having them be lost. Now, adapting a video game into a 3-act structure story is never easy. Usually video games don't follow a traditional narrative. They're more like a limited series or a TV show. The fact that they're even attempting to adapt video games into movies in itself is brave. But having Craig Mason at the helm of this project, and if you've seen Chernobyl, you know he's a talented filmmaker, with the help of Neil Druckmann, the creator of the game itself, by his side, then there's no reason to suspect they can't perfectly round out the rest of the story. I mean, with so much subpar content out there, it's refreshing to find something like this that stands out at this caliber. I'd love to know what you think of the show so far, whether you've actually played the game or not. Let me know in the comments what's been your favorite moment from the first 4 episodes. I'll be making weekly content about trending movies and shows throughout the year, but for now, I'm a big fan of what HBO is doing with this series, and I can't wait to see how it ends. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more of this content from yours truly. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.